I'm Anthony DeBundo here with this week's edition of Springford Football Player of the Week, presented by Pike & Galetto Associates. This week we have our place kicker, Erick Rodriguez, who has been 15 for 16 on kicks this year. Erick, big game against Wilson on Friday night. Do you agree with the decision to go for two, or would you have rather them kick the extra point and keep the game going?
I think the 2-point was definitely a good call. We could have won the game there, and I think we did, but the officials had something else to say.
So, you guys, you lose a close game like that. What do you take from that game, and what do you how do you learn from it to move on against bigger games, against PV and whatnot, coming up in conference play?
It's definitely a motivator for us. I think that thinking that we should have won that game, that's going to push us to win every other game coming up by a lot.
And, you play soccer. So how has the transition been playing both sports? I know Friday you had a soccer game against PV, and then you had to get in the car and drive up to Wilson for that game. So how has it been for you managing both sports, trying to do both the same day even?
It's not easy. Getting from soccer to football when soccer's home but football's away. It takes a long time. You definitely got to deal with traffic all the time. But my dad has been unreal with that, supporting me and driving me all the way up to Reading to play Wilson. So I thank him for that.
And how have you practiced your kicking? How did you get the job as the kicker for varsity this year? I know we had Owen Galati last year. He's gone now. So how did you get the job as the starting kicker?
When Owen was still here doing his thing, I was a sophomore. So after one of the soccer practices, I stayed behind because I was talking to Owen about kicking for football, and knowing that he was going to graduate soon, I asked him how it was, how he liked it, and who would be his replacement after he left. And he told me that he didn't have a replacement. So after a soccer practice, I stayed behind with him and just hit a few extra points with him. And so after that, I became the JV kicker for my sophomore and junior year. And then now that Owen's gone, trying to beat his school record as that varsity kicker.
And, moving on for your career, next year looking at colleges and whatnot, what are you trying to study next year? Where are you planning on going in the next phase of your life?
Definitely looking at going to college, probably studying science. I'm looking at biochemistry at either the University of Dayton or DeSales University.
All right, thanks to Erick for a great interview, and good luck for the rest of the year kicking. I know there's a lot of pressure on that job to do well. This week presented by Pike & Galetto Associates. This has been this week's edition of Springford Football Player of the Week.